Greetings, this is the Apetabi Elosha Ola Amia Kalatunde, and I'm coming to you all tonight with a video to discuss Halloween. I know that around this time of year, a lot of African-centered people will begin to talk about how Halloween is bad and it's not a celebration of anything good and therefore they don't celebrate it, etc. And I find that to be an interesting position of people who claim to be practicing the original culture or indigenous cultures or African culture. So, first of all, if you say that Halloween is a celebration of the devil, in what indigenous culture does the devil exist? Because the devil is not a part of the cosmology of any indigenous culture that I can think of. There is no arch evil like that. So that's the first thing. The devil is not even a part of our paradigm. So why would we be concerned about the devil when he doesn't exist in our worldview? That's the first thing. The second thing is, it is the African way and the original way, the indigenous way to dress up in masquerade and celebrate your ancestors. That's done in every indigenous culture. In many indigenous cultures, it's done around this time of year. So you find October 31st, November 1st, November 2nd being very important dates for the celebration of the ancestors. So knowing that and having that information, I can't understand why people who would claim that they are practicing African culture are opposed to Halloween. I can't, it doesn't make any sort of sense to me. It is completely expected for you to dress in masquerade and celebrate your ancestors. That's completely what's expected of an African person in any context. As a matter of fact, there's a scripture that speaks of how we first began to do this, and that's a West African oral scripture called Oju. And it speaks of how an ancestor was sitting outside of the gate of the town, but was blessing everyone that came in and out of the gate with everything that they needed. And so once the town became so blessed and prosperous, the chief of the town asked the people, how is it that we have come by all these blessings? And they said, there's a stout foreigner that's sitting outside of the gate, but he's dressed in rags. So the chief of the town went to each house in the town, and he gathered a beautiful bit of cloth, and they made a beautiful outfit for the stout foreigner. Ajeje Godogbo is how you say it in the Yoruba language. And when they presented him with this outfit as a way of thanks, he placed it upon himself and he began to spin in a dance that caused it to fan out. And this is the dance of Egungun. This is the dance of the ancestors. So we are the creators of masquerade, of dressing up, of allowing this particular lifetime to kind of take a back seat and bring some of your alter egos or some of your different aspects to the forefront. This began with indigenous people. This is our way. So I can't understand why we would find fault with it in 2013. So this was just a video to say that it is completely and totally original and indigenous and African to celebrate your ancestors during this time. This is the time when they say that the veil between the worlds is the thinnest. And someone asked me today, why did I think that it was thinnest at this time? And as I meditated on it, what came to me was, well, winter is the time of death. And lots of people and things die during the winter time because it is also a time of hardship. So as you're moving closer and closer to this harsh time of death, then you're coming face to face with death. and those who have made that particular journey and who have become ancestors are right there, and you're moving closer to their realm, and so it's easier for you to be in contact with them. So this is the time when that's happening. This is why traditionally this is the time that you celebrate your ancestors, and everything is about skulls and the ghoulish looks that we get when our bodies start to deteriorate, because as an ancient people, we didn't see this as frightening. This was the way that you recognize this as a normal part of life. It's normal. It's natural for you to move into this next phase. So we would celebrate with the skulls and with the, scary looking faces, or people deem scary now, but the faces that look as though they're near death. Because that would then make you have to, integrate it into your everyday life, and remember that you too will take this journey at some point. You too will become this skeleton at some point. And that is a part of the journey that you're on now, is the journey towards becoming an ancestor. And eventually from there, an Orisha. So this is our way. This is our thing. I find it very interesting and sometimes very irritating and disgusting that when people of African descent become African-centered, some of the values that they embrace are just WASP values, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant values. It's these very conservative, Christian-based values that you've never even questioned. You've never taken the time to understand why are these values, given so much credit in this society. And if they're given so much credit in this society, why would you then take them on? When as a person who's African-centered, you're supposed to be anti this society. You're supposed to be working to dismantle this wicked society. So I've never understood how people can take on those conservative values, without even thinking, without even researching, without even studying and seeing whether or not that actually fits our paradigm, our worldview, our lifestyle. And in this particular case, I would have to say it doesn't fit our paradigm at all. We have always done this. This is our way. And you have to come face to face with death at some point during your life to understand how it works and to accept it as normal and to not fear it. To know that it is eventually a journey that you yourself will take too. So once you make it into a festival, once you make it into something that you can approach somewhat lightly, and you do this every year, you think about it and you work on it every year, it becomes something easier for you to accept. So yes, Halloween, Samhain, Un Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, is ours. That belongs to you. Embrace it, practice it, show your children how to embrace it and how to practice it. Celebrate your ancestors. Put up your skulls and your ghoulish faces and teach that that's nothing to fear. That is your future as well. You will become that. We will all become that eventually. So I wanted to share that tonight, and in the hopes of, freeing people up to really be able to move forward and do what they're feeling to do. All right. Many, many thanks. Ecstasy, abundance, and bliss to all of those who are wishing the same to me, and the lessons of life to those who are wishing me otherwise. Peace, y'all.